ladies and gentlemen, going for this football game between the visiting Arlington Lamar Vikings and the home Midland Rebels. This game is being conducted according to the rules and regulations of the University of Scholastic League. Regardless of the outcome of today's game, all the players have proven their willingness to serve and sacrifice in order to achieve athletic excellence. We ask that the spectators will consider the time and effort each of these teams, coaches, and athletes have put forth. Show these young athletes a welcome and do not think of your actions cause them to doubt the value of athletics. By your conduct, allow these young people to feel quiet and opportunities in school. While your sportsmanlike actions may play only a small part in the outcome of this game, they will play a greater role in continuing to encourage competitive athletics. We also ask that you show your appreciation for the students who will be taking part directly in today's game, the cheerleaders, the band, the pep squads, the students who have supported their teams at home and away. These young people play an integral part in their team's success. The officials for today's game have been mutually appointed by both schools. Their roles are unlike those of the players, coaches, teachers, and school administrators. Without them, this game would not be possible. Their knowledge and application of the rules are...
Check 1, 2, 3, check. Welcome to Grande Communication Stadium in Midland, Texas for this playoff game between the Midland Rebels and the Lamar Vikings.
And citizens to demonstrate the kind of respect for these officials that you would extend.
Beautiful sky here today, temperature 68 degrees. High scattered clouds, slight wind that's gusting ever so often out of the east.
The use of any and all alcohol and tobacco products is strictly prohibited.
Okay, good. I can turn my mic down.
This is the 56th version of the Pride of West Texas, the Mighty Rebel Marching Band. As the Mighty Rebel Band takes the field, enjoy the strains of March Grandioso. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Permian Anchors in the Midland Independent School District invite you to stand, remove your caps, and join us in honoring America as the Lee High School Band performs our national anthem. Please remain standing for the playing of the Arlington Lamar High School alma mater.
Hello, football fans, and welcome to this broadcast of Lamar Viking Varsity Football, brought to you by the Lamar Viking Football Booster Club. I'm Bill Frawley, going to bring you all the action today, flying solo. I'm a one-man crew, except for our broadcast producer, Jay Ryan, who is back in Arlington at broadcast headquarters, making sure everything works out technically just right. We are at Grande Communication Stadium in Midland, Texas. It's a beautiful day here, high scattered clouds. The temperature is 68 degrees. There are some strong winds coming out of the east. Usually we see them out of the west here, as we do back home in Arlington, but we got some different weather systems coming around. No rain in the forecast. It's a sunny sky, just some high scattered clouds. The crosswind from east to west could play a little bit of havoc in the kicking game. We'll see what happens with that. The stadium field sits about 20 feet below ground level. It seats about 15,000 people. So to put that in perspective, if you're used to Cravens Field in Arlington, that seats about 8,000 people. UTA's Maverick Stadium, I believe, seats about 12,500 thereabouts. So a good-sized facility that the two Midland schools here, Midland High and Midland Lee, share. And we are ready for some playoff action. Well, let's talk about how the two teams got here. Now, Midland Lee comes out of District 2, and that's one of your larger districts in all of Texas, especially in 6A football. It stretches from San Angelo down at the south to Amarillo at the north, includes Wolford Friendship in the Lubbock area, Midland High, Midland Lee, Odessa High, Odessa Permian, San Angelo Central. Midland Lee finished their regular season 8-2, and their two losses were to the top two finishers in their district, Central from San Angelo and Odessa Permian. Now, the keys in those losses for Midland Lee were the rushing game. Central only allowed 237 yards rushing by Midland Lee. 122 of that came by their dual threat quarterback, Colby Standard. And 93 was by one of their leading rushers, Avery Akbar, and 22 yards by Josh Taylor. Similar results from Permian. They limited to only 116 yards total rushing, and Permian was the number 2 seed in that district. Now, in the first round of the playoffs last week, Midland Lee traveled out to El Paso and defeated El Paso El Dorado 63-0. El Paso El Dorado's quarterback was injured on the first play of the game and did not return. That may have played a factor in the lack of offensive output, but this Midland Lee team is a force to be reckoned with, as are a lot of these West Texas schools. I grew up in Odessa, just about 15 miles down the road. Went to Permian High School myself, and all through the years, all of these schools out here play tough, strong West Texas football. Now, Lamar finished 4th in their district, District 4. They're the number 2 seed in the Division 1, and what that means, if you're not used to Texas high school football playoffs, 4 teams from each district will make the playoffs. The 2 of those 4 that have the largest enrollments will go to Division 1. They call it the big school sometimes. And then the other 2 with the smaller 2 enrollments will go to Division 2, sometimes called the small school or little school enrollment. Do that for all 6 classifications up and down the scales. So Lamar finished 5-5 in the regular season. They won their first playoff game last Thursday. So 9 days ago they played against the Haltom Buffaloes in Grand Prairie at the Gopher Warrior Bowl, defeating the Buffaloes 49-12, in what was definitely their best overall performance of the season. They played a complete, almost flawless game. Jack Dawson got his ankle tweaked late in the second half, but we have the benefit at Lamar with Caden Hadawi, who is also a quarterback, but also a great linebacker, great on special teams. He stepped in at the quarterback role, and the Lamar offense didn't miss a beat. Just want to give another thanks to Jay Ryan, our producer back in Arlington, who's sending me a text message. I had a pause there just to see make sure everything's sounding good back home. And I'm going to do the best I can to bring you all of the action live, of course. I don't have a spotter up here with me, so I will guarantee I'll let you know what's happening, especially on offense and how far either team is getting the ball down the field. And as many of the defensive players' names and numbers I can call out, I will. But you will be able to keep up with the action. Want to give a couple of announcements here for the University Interscholastic League. We want to thank them for allowing us to do the live webcast per our agreement with the UIL, which is the governing body over athletics in Texas Public Schools. We have agreed that we will show only video of the scoreboard. We're not going to be showing video of the game per our agreement with them, and we will, of course, bring you live audio. Speaking of the UIL, don't miss the University Interscholastic League Football State Championships on December 14th through the 17th at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Tickets are available to purchase now through Ticketmaster. For more information, visit uiltexas.org. Now, that is a great thing that they do now that they've located all of the state championship games, 4 days of action-packed fun, to go out there and you can see a variety of Texas high school football from 6-man all the way up through the 6A contest. It's a great way to enjoy a lot of football in a short period of time, in just a couple of days or so. Now, what's next for the winner of this game in this situation? Well, they're going to play the winner of Euless, Trinity, and Duncanville, who are currently playing at AT&T Stadium, from what I understand. I'm going to see if I can, at some point here, get an update on that score. Now, some of the key players that you're going to be hearing us call out from Midland Lee, their quarterback is number 10, Colby Standard. He has rushed for 1,170 yards this season. He's thrown for 1,946 yards. He's completed 121 out of 195 passes. He's thrown 6 interceptions in 11 games, but he has 16 touchdowns as well. Then some of the star receivers, number 1, last name Bass. He's caught passes for 594 yards. Next leading receiver is number 3, Brown, for 576 yards. Now, what's going to really be a threat here is the rushing game. They've got 3 rushers plus the quarterback, including the quarterback, who have all rushed for over 1,000 yards. The quarterback has rushed for 1,170 yards. The number 22, Traylor, Traylor, has rushed for 1,306 yards. And the number 28, Akbar, has rushed for 1,062 yards. So it's going to be really important for the Lamar defense to contain the rush, both up the middle. We're going to need every bit of effort from Bobby Brown and the rest of the guys up front. And then our head-hunting linebackers and safeties are going to have to get in on the action to make sure nothing gets out and around for the big explosive plays. Now, some of the defensive players that stand out for Midland Lee, number 36, Nunez, he's leading with 77 solo tackles and 50 assists. He also has 7 sacks included in that. The number 41, Hinojosa, has 53 solo tackles and 20 assists. And number 19, Taylor, has 48 tackles with 33 assists. Now, of course, if you're familiar with Lamar, I'm going to give you some information you'll already be familiar with. But just to get you up to speed, of course, the starting quarterback is number 7, Jack Dawson. He's thrown for 2,207 yards, and that's with a completion rate of 55%. He's hit for 22 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. And of course, Caden Hadawi stepped in last week. He's had 1 or 2 other passes, but he has thrown for 124 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he's completed 80% of those passes that he's thrown. Our leading rushers for Lamar, Michael Bradley, has 114 carries for 639 yards. That's averaging 5.6 carries or yards per carry with 6 touchdowns. Number 26, Desmond Moultrie, 83 carries for 377 yards, 4.5 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Jones has 4 touchdowns, 217 yards, and then Jack Dawson, the quarterback, has rushed for 260 yards on 78 carries, 3.3 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. Remember, of course, with the quarterback, that's going to include a few times when he got sacked back behind the line of scrimmage. Now, some of the favorite receiving targets, Trayvon West has caught 30 passes for 573 yards. That's averaging 19 per catch, 6 touchdowns. Number 10, Dayton Dubs, has caught 36 passes, 572 yards, averaging 16 yards per catch, 7 touchdowns. Then Jalen Jones, who's a dual threat receiver and running back at times when he goes in motion, 41 receptions, 462 yards, 11 yards per catch with 5 touchdowns. Then Matthew Shaw, 4 touchdowns, 32 receptions, 390 yards, and he's averaging 12 yards per catch. And then number 14, Genoa Baylog, has 6 receptions, 97 yards, 1 touchdown, but he can get 16 yards per catch on the average. We're waiting for the teams to come onto the field. They did already have the national anthem and both school songs. You might have heard that. We began the live stream just before I went on the air to start giving you some pregame show and analysis. Now, all time, Midland Lee and Lamar have played 3 times. Lamar has defeated Lee twice, and there's been 1 tie. That dates back to when there were no playoffs. So in 1989, Lamar won 17-3. In 1994, there was a tie, 29-29, but Lee advanced on what they would call penetrations, basically getting into the red zone. I'm going to let you know right now they are meeting at midfield to do the coin toss. I'll keep you updated. In the 1995, Lamar beat Lee 26-8 at Texas Stadium. So they're doing the coin toss here, and then after that I'm going to give you a couple of audio announcements from UIL as well as what I just read a minute ago. The head referee is explaining the coin and all the basic rules to the players. The captain's out on the field. Looks like I see Jack Dawson out there. Cade Tresh, I believe. Jalen Jones and Khalifa Gar are the other ones. So Midland Lee won the coin toss. They're going to defer their option to the second half. So Lamar is going to receive the opening kickoff, defending the north end zone. So they'll be moving left to right. Midland Lee will be kicking, and they will be moving right to left, defending the south end zone. I'll be back in just a couple of moments after I play a couple of announcements from the University Interscholastic League.
To the players, to the educators. We've been in your shoes. Extracurricular activities are essential to the development of our youth. From proposed rule changes to the relaxation of transfer rules, we keep it fair. New academic contests. We hear you loud and clear. New events are music to our ears. We just added film. That's a wrap. Educational activities help young people become productive citizens. From staph infections to steroid use, to cardiac and concussions. Health and safety is a priority. Heart and health history. From heat-related illness to head injuries to heart-related issues to the medical history of students. Your well-being is our priority because we are the UIL. We are the UIL. We are the UIL. We are the UIL.